Hey bass players, today I'm going to show you how I take a normal 4-string bass tuned E standard, E-A-D-G, and we're going to string it B-E-A-D. So we're going to be using the 4 lowest strings of a 5-string bass guitar. And if you're like me, you find the G string basically useless on the bass. So I don't play on the G much, so for me I'd much rather have the low B. So I'm going to show you how I tune it to B-E-A-D. So to do this, you're not going to use your standard bass guitar strings because they'd be way too floppy to tune them down that many notes. So I've got a new 5-string set ready to go. So basically we're just going to use the 4 lowest strings and not use the G string. So this is a pretty simple thing you can try, not too intimidating. First thing you want to do, take off your old strings. It's a good time to clean your guitar neck while you got the strings off and the dust around the pickups. So there's just a couple modifications that you might have to do to your bass to accommodate the wider strings. The main thing being here at the nut, you're going to have to widen the groove in the nut since the slot's going to have to be wider. So for instance, I got my old E string here and that's going to be going in obviously where the A string was. So what I like to do, just taking my old string, you can do it with your new strings as well. I'd rather just use the old strings just in case you get a bit of gunk in here. I will take the string at the top of the string, so this part here that's up past the nut, and we're just going to lightly rub this up and down in the nut here just to widen it. Just be gentle, you don't want to go too deep. You can also use like an actual file to go up and down here. And if you screw this up, this isn't a very expensive part to replace, but I've never had to do that. So you're just going to want to widen it until the string sits in there fully. So this might take a little bit of time. Just take your time, get it right. And again, the reason I'm using the old string is just because I'm filing, so I might get some gunk stuck in the string. So I'd rather it just be in the old string. Now, if your strings you're putting on are a different gauge, like for example, you had light strings on and you're going to medium, you have to keep that in mind as well. But if you use new strings, that's fine. I would just try to go up high on the string where it's past the nut, so that's not going to affect your tone. All right, so that's the E. The E string should be pretty good. Now I'm taking the A string. So my A string is going to go where the D string was. There we go. And now we're going to pop out the D string. So I'm just doing this as I take out the string so I don't get confused and use the wrong one. And obviously, since I haven't had a B string on this bass, I'm going to have to use the new B string, the low B, to widen the E nut slot, or the slot there. That seems to almost fit already. So I'll double check this when I put the new strings on just to make sure that it's good. This nut on this bass is actually loose. I should probably glue that. This shows you how easy it would be to replace this. Now, if the glue were good, you couldn't just pop it out so easily. But anyway, all right. So now I'm going to take my new strings. I'm using cheap Long & McQuaid strings. I'm in Canada. So before you start, maybe just double check that they're in the right order so you don't mess that up. So the 130 is my low B, 105 is the E, 85, 65. So the 45 gauge is the G string. Not going to use that, not today. All right, so I'm going to start with what's going to be a D. So you just string it up like normal now. And here when I get it up to the nut, again, I'm just so I can see that it's not, this string isn't sitting in the nut. I don't know, you probably can't see that, but I'm gonna have to widen this a bit more. And one tip, when you're sawing back and forth, if you're using a string, you need to put a bit of downward pressure, but try to really push on the edges just to widen the groove, because obviously you want to get the groove wider more than deep. So once you got all 4 strings on, tune her up. Just make sure that the strings are sitting nicely in the nut slots there. Widen them a bit if you have to. So I'm gonna just let it settle in a bit, see how it plays. If you're having issues, might have to give it a quick setup. Pretty simple. So this isn't gonna be a setup video, but I would do is just adjust the neck relief first, and I'll go to the string height adjustment if I want to raise or lower it if I'm getting a lot of buzz or it's just too high. And after you get the string height the way you wanted, just dial your intonation. So with the saddles here, just move them forward or backwards, depending if you need to go sharper or flat. And enjoy your BEAD bass. I played this one a little bit. It's sounding really good. Now, in my case, it wasn't playing the best before. It did kind of seem to need a setup. And I've noticed now I'm getting a bit of buzz on some of the high strings, or on the D string. So I'll have to fix that. But again, it wasn't playing the best before, so we can remedy that, I think, with a quick setup. But the bass, the B string's sounding real good. I know it's probably not gonna pick up on camera, just playing it acoustically. But I'm pretty happy. That's how I throw BEAD strings on my 4-string bass to get that thunderous low B. Beats the pants off of a G string, in my opinion. It's a cool way of playing bass, I think, especially depending on the style you're into. So I'm gonna give this bass a quick setup and it should be thunderous. Hope this video helps some of you guys. Cheers.